Woe betide you, Molly Whoopie, if ever again you come this way. 2 more times to come, I say, until it is my wedding day. And 2 more times she comes until her wedding day. He can steal from her brother, can make a tiger her whale. Come and meet the only one who'd pinch a giant's tail. The trickster, oh, the trickster is for me. Not a friend, but a fine fiend. The trickster is for me. The trickster, oh, the trickster is for me. Not a friend, but a fine fiend. The trickster is for me. The trickster. Let's hear it. Ready? The trickster, oh, the trickster is for me. Not a friend, but a fine fiend. The trickster is for me. You sound great out there this week. And I want to thank you. You guys sent in incredible pictures and stories. We're going to tell some of your stories this week. But right now, I want to share some of your pictures. We're going to begin right here, and I think you remember old Delano and the dragon. Remember, Delano used Razoom, and he tricked one nasty old dragon. And then we move right up here, and remember the Kulkunen, the giant, who thought he was going to do in Finn McCool, but his wife Una was just too smart. Up here is another great picture of a dragon, and you can see the fire coming out of his mouth. And right here is Patrick. And Patrick is the one who always says, I don't know what that. I think you remember. Here we have another wonderful dragon who Razoom conquered. And look, up here is another picture of Una tricking the Kulkunen, getting him to eat a griddle cake with a griddle. And remember, she gave her own sweet husband, Finn McCool, a griddle cake without. And now we're going to walk over here, and you're going to get to see another picture of Finn McCool and Una. Right here, look, there's Finn. He even has baby curls in this one. And there's his beloved wife, Una, and there are all the griddle cakes. That's a wonderful, wonderful picture. And up here, aha, one more Una with lots of griddle cakes. And you can see on all the other pictures, we have more giants, more Unas, more Kulkunens, and a lot of tricky Patricks who just keep saying, I don't know what that. If the giant is a meanie and flowers he does hate, just put them on the old school roof and he'll run out the gate. One of your stories. And this one is about a giant named Meanie. Now, Meanie hated anything nice. What he hated the most were flowers. Because flowers, they made people smile. Well, Meanie, he was on his way to the Bowman's school. Ooh, everyone thought, how can we stop Meanie? But Emily had an idea. She said, Meanie hates flowers. Let's just put them on the roof of the school, and when he comes to sit on it, he won't like them at all. And they did. Tulips and daffodils and begonias. So that when Meanie the giant came feeling mean, he went, look at all them nice-looking flowers. I don't like this at all. I think I'll go sit on the bridge school instead. Great trickster, Emily. And there was another story about a bully who used to go to the park. And the bully would always bully 2 kids. Well, one of the kids got a trickster idea. He went to the bully's house. He got a tape recorder, and he tape recorded the bully's mother calling him, Bully, Bully, See, his mother knew the score. And then he put the tape recorder in his pocket. And when the bully came to the park and started to threaten him and his friend, he just pressed the start. And the bully heard, "Bully! Bully! Hey, I'll bully you guys later. I gotta go somewhere right now." And he went running home. "Hey, Ma, did you call me?" "No, I didn't, Bully." But by the time Bully got back to the park, those two smart trickster kids, they were history. And in a third story, it's about Duh. Duh is a giant who's not too. He has no resume at all. Not only is he big and ugly, he is lazy. He has to take a rest every 4 steps. Well, it looks like he's coming near the Bowman School, and he plans to take a rest on it. Oh, no. Somebody's got to think of a plan. He'd already sat on the Clark Middle School. He'd already sat on the Bridge School. What were they going to do? One really smart kid had an idea. He got on the loudspeaker. He told everybody to go home so they'd be safe. And then he put quilts and blankets over the rocks and trees behind the Bowman School, and he painted a door on either side. Well, to a monster as stupid as Da, it looked like a, "Hey, Mr. Da, are you tired?" "Da, yeah, I am." "Listen, this school here is much more comfortable than that square one called the Bowman. Why don't you try sitting on it?" "Da, I should sit on it?" "Yeah, you should sit on it." "It's more comfortable than that one?" "Yeah, more comfortable." "Oh, okay." And the big giant sits right on the blanket that's over the evergreen trees, and he gets those giant evergreen quills right on his, "Oh, this hurts, and this is more comfortable than the other one. I'm never sitting on a school in Lexington again." And he was out of there. The trickster, the trickster, oh, the trickster is for me. Not a friend, but a fine feed. The trickster is for me. She's smarter than a giant. She's smarter than a king. Meet the one small girl who gets a fortune, sword, and ring. For this next story, I'm going to need your help. It's called Molly Whoopie, and you're going to divide your class in half. And half of you are going to be the giant, and half of you are going to be Molly. Now, giants, are you there? Say yeah. Good. This is what you're going to do. When it's time for the giant to run, you're going to go, "Bum, bum, your days are done." Try that with me. Bum, bum, your days are done. Bum, bum, your days are done. And if you make a really mean face, it helps. The rest of you guys, you are Molly. Now, Molly's steps aren't as big, but they're much faster. So try this. Run, Molly, run, Molly, run, run, run. Run, Molly, run, Molly, run, run, run. Do it with me. Run, Molly, run, Molly, run, run, run. Run, Molly, run, Molly, run, run, run. One more time, I don't hear you. Run, Molly, run, Molly, run, run, run. Run, Molly, run, Molly, run, run, run. Excellent. And she's really got to move fast because that guy's got much bigger steps. Now, this is a story from a land called Scotland. Scotland is over the ocean. It's right near England. Scotland is near Wales and Ireland. We had a story last week from Ireland. And this story from Scotland is called Molly Whoopie. Long ago, in the forest of the giants, lived a poor man with more children than he could feed. And so he took the 3 youngest into the woods. He gave them some bread and some treacle and left them there to die, like the babes in the woods that they were. Now, they would have eaten the bread and drunk the treacle if it hadn't been for the youngest, and by far the cleverest. Her name, Molly Whoopee. Hey, y'all, look. There be a chink of light coming through the trees. Where there be a chink of light, there be life. Let's go. And Molly marched her sisters right to a door on a cabin in the middle of the woods. And she knocked polite-like. Well, finally, a big old woman answered. Excuse me, ma'am. Me and my two sisters were scared, hungry, lost lasses. Would you give us something to eat? Please. Hey, girl, my man's a giant, and quick as say knife, he'd eat you up. Might as well eat us up. We're going to starve to death out there anyway. And then Molly looked in the hut, and she could see that the giant's wife had 3 daughters of her own, and she thought fast. Now, ma'am, if your 3 little girls was out in the woods, and they was scared and hungry, wouldn't you want some nice, big, friendly lady inviting them in? Oh, girl, you got me there. Come on. And the giant's wife sat Molly and her sisters at a board with food. Just when you know who came in. Ready, giants? Bum, bum, your days are done. Bum, bum, your days are done. Hey, wifey, I see you got some tasty dessert for me. Husband, these are 3 scared, hungry, lost lasses. Now you be leaving them alone and eat your barbecued brontosaurus. It's in the oven. But in between bites of barbecued brontosaurus, the giant couldn't help but lick his lips looking at Molly and her sisters. Well, at night, hoping to keep them safe, the giant's wife put all 6 girls in one big bed together. But as if making a joke, the giant put necklaces of gold on his daughters' necks, and necklaces of straw on those of Molly and her sisters. And then all went to sleep, all but. And that was Molly. And fast as a cat and quiet as the wind, she took the necklaces of gold and put them on her own, and the necklaces of straw and put them on the others. And then when the night was dark, the giant came fumbling from his bed, and he felt for the necklaces of straw. And he grabbed up those 3 girls and he threw them in his dungeon. I'll have me a good breakfast in the morning. Who had he just thrown in the dungeon? His own. And as soon as that giant's snores rocked the earth, Molly woke up her own too. Come on, y'all, let's get out of here. And Molly ran out from the forest of the giants over the bridge of the one hair into the land of the kings. There she saw a house with 1,000 windows, and it overlooked a pond with 100 swans. Now, was this your run-of-the-mill Better Homes and Gardens Cape? No, this is what you call a castle. And Molly walked right up the drawbridge, and she knocked, polite-like, on the door. Well, all the servants were sleeping, so the king himself had to answer. Excuse me, Your Majesty, my name's Molly Whoopee, and let me tell you what I just done. And when the king heard how she had outwitted a giant, he set a great breakfast banquet. Molly at one end, the king at the other, king's sons on one side, Molly's sisters on the other. Well, Molly, that was a thing done and done well, but would you like to know another? Was that, Your Majesty? Molly, that giant keeps a sword above his bed. Bring me that sword. Yeah? And what'll you do for me? I'll marry your eldest sister to my eldest son. Put a princess in your family. Well, Molly looked at her eldest sister. Please, please, pretty please, with sugar on it. Looked at the king's eldest son. Please, please, pretty please, with honey and maple syrup and all sorts of natural sweetenings. Fools. Well, I'll try. And Molly, she cloistered herself in a cloak of brown, and she ran out from the land of the kings over the bridge of the one hair in to the forest of the giants. And there she hid in the dark, in the bushes, until the giant's wife called him in for supper. Husband, come on in. I got a great stew of all the people who don't bother to vote today. Come on in. All the lazy Americans are in the stew. Come on in, dear. And Molly ran and she hid under the giant's bed until he'd finished that huge stew of unpatriotic people. And Molly waited until the giant's snores rocked. You know, maybe, just maybe if we all snored together, we could sound a little like you know who. Let's try it. Excellent. And it was only then that Molly made her way up the side of that bed. And she leaned up and she took the giant's sword. Oh, heavy it was too. It's good it was only his decorating sword. And she made her way down and she started towards the door. But just as she got there, the sword inside of its scabbard went rattle, 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 and the giant rattle, rattle. You! Ow! And Molly ran. Run, Molly, run, Molly, run, run, run! Run, Molly, run, Molly, run, run, run! And the giant ran after her. Bum, bum, your days are done. Bum, bum, your days are done. Run, Molly, run, Molly, run, run, run! Run, Molly, run, Molly, run, run, run! Bum, bum, your days are done. Bum, bum, your days are done. Run, Molly, run, Molly, run, run, run! Run, Molly, run, Molly, run, run, run! Bum, bum, your days are done. Bum, bum, your days are. But Molly, she leapt over the bridge of the one hair, and the giant could not follow. Woe betide you, Molly Whoopie, if ever again you come this way. 2 more times to come I see until it is my wedding day. 2 more times to come I see until it is my wedding day. And Molly gave the sword to the king, your majesty. And his sisters were married the next morning. And they partied, yes, in honor of the wedding of Molly Whoopie's second sister and the king's second son. They partied for 2 days and 2 nights, and on the morning of the 3rd day, they had a great breakfast banquet. King at one end, Molly at the other, sons on one side, sisters on the other. Well, Molly, that was the thing done well. Would you like to know one more? Was that, your majesty? Molly, that giant keeps a sack of gold under his pillow. Bring me that sack of gold. And what do you do for me? Put another princess in your family. Well, Molly looked at her next sister, looked at the king's next son. Well, shoot, I'll try. And she cloistered herself in a cloak of green, and she ran out from the land of the kings over the bridge of the one hair inn to the forest of the giants. And she waited until the giant's wife called him in for supper. Husband! Husband, come on in. I got a great meatloaf of all the people who don't want to support public education through their tax dollars. Come on in, husband, and eat. And Molly ran, and she hid in the linen closet, and she waited till the giant had eaten that great meatloaf. Ooh, nasty it was. He had to pick out the pieces from between his teeth. And she waited until late that night, when the giant snores. And Molly snuck out from the linen closet and walked right over to where that giant's ugly head lay upon the pillow. And she pressed her fingers between the pillow and the bed until she touched that sack of gold, and she started to make her way towards the door of the hut when a single coin, click, and you know who. You! Ow. And Molly. Run, Molly, run, Molly, run, run, run. Run, Molly, run, Molly, run, run, run. And the giant, bum, bum, your days are done. Bum, bum, your days are done. Run, Molly, run, Molly, run, run, run. Run, Molly, run, Molly, run, run, run. Bum, bum, your days are done. Bum, bum, your days are done. Run, Molly, run, Molly, run, run, run. Run, Molly, run, Molly, run, run, run. Bum, bum, your days are done. Bum, bum, your days are. But Molly, she leapt over the bridge of the one hair, and the giant could not follow. Oh, betray you, Molly Whoopie, if ever again you come this way. One more time to come I see until it is my wedding day. One more time to come I see until it is my wedding day. And Molly gave the gold to the king, Majesty. And her sister was married the next morning. And they partied, yes, for 2 weeks in honor of the wedding of Molly Whoopie's middle sister, King's middle son. On the morning of the 15th day, they had a great breakfast banquet. King at one side, Molly at the other, sons on one side, sisters on the other. Well, Molly, that was the thing done well. Would you like to know one more? Was that your Majesty? Molly, let's get right to it. That giant wears a ring on his thumb. Bring me that ring, and I will marry you to my youngest son. And if truth be told, you always were my favorite girl. Well, Molly, she looks over the king's youngest son. She looks him up and down and all around. And at first she frowns, but then she... I'll try. And she cloistered herself in a cloak of crimson and ran out from the land of the kings over the bridge of the one hair into the forest of the giants. And she waited until the giant's wife called him in for supper. Husband, husband, we're having potluck tonight. What that means is anything that's bad in this world, you can throw into the giant's stew. So whether it's pollution or bad drivers or slippery sidewalks, anything you want, you can put in the giant's stew. I'm going to count to 3, and you yell out what you want to put in that giant stew, okay? 1, 2, 3. Husband, I got the nastiest stew I ever made for you. Come on in. And Molly went running. And she hid in the ashes of the dying fire, and the giant ate that potluck stew of everything in the world that you thought was bad. It gave him terrible indigestion, but I think he liked being in that state. And Molly waited until late that night, when the giant snores. And only then did the lass walk over to the sleeping giant. His big, ugly, hairy finger was hanging right out of the edge of the bed with the ring on it. She and put the wet right on his thumb so that she could get that ring. And she grabbed it and bit. I bit 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. At 4 in the morning, Molly Whoopie had the giant's ring. But in that second, the giant, he had. I was waiting for you, girl. I was waiting for you the whole time. Oh, you little rotten thing. Now, if I had done all the bad things to you that you've done to me, you know what I mean, stealing my gold and stealing my sword and trying to steal my ring, what would you do to me? I'll put you in a sack with a dog and a cat, a pair of shears, which is a fancy word for scissors, a needle and a thread. I'll go get the biggest cudgel stick I can find. I'll beat you to a jelly. That's what I'm gonna do to you. And the giant put her in a sack with a dog and a cat, a pair of shears, which is a fancy word for scissors, a needle and a thread, tied her up tight and said, "Wife, watch her." And he went off to get the biggest cudgel stick you could find. Well, the second the giant walked out that door, Molly sang out from inside the sack. "If anybody could see what I can see." "Well, what is it you see in there, girl?" "If anybody could see what I can see." "Well, what is it you're seeing?" "What I see is big and tall. What I see is both great and small. Would you like to see what I can see?" "Yes, I would, girl." "Good." And Molly cut a slit in the sack with the shears, which is a fancy word for a pair of. And she got herself out, and she helped the giant's wife into the sack, and then she sewed it up. Now I got to tell you the truth. The giant's wife couldn't see anything but stars in that sack, and they were in her head, but Molly didn't have a second to worry about it, because in that moment, walking through the door came you-know-who, with the biggest cudgel stick you've ever seen. He raised it high above the sack, and the wife started to scream out, "No, man, no, don't hurt me." But in that second, all the cats started to meow. All the people who are Molly, you start to meow. The cats, they started to meow. "Run, Molly." And all the dogs, giants, you be the dogs, they started to bark. "No, husband, no, don't hurt me, don't hurt me, don't hurt me." Truth? Molly liked the giant's wife. Well, she'd done a good deed for the girl. And so she jumped out from behind the door and said, "Hey, giant!" And Molly, "Run, Molly, run, Molly, run, 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 Molly, run, Molly, run, run, run. Bum, bum, your days are done. Bum, bum, your days are done. Run, Molly, run, Molly, run, run, run. Bum, bum, your days are done. Run, Molly, run, Molly, run, run, run. Bum, bum, your days are done. Run, Molly, run, Molly, run, run, run. Bum, bum, your days are done. Run, Molly, run, Molly, run, run, run. Bum, bum, your days are done. Run, Molly, run, Molly, run, run, run. Bum, bum, your days are done. Run, Molly, run, Molly, run, run, run. Bum, bum, your days are... But Molly leapt over the bridge of the one, and the giant could not. "Whoopee, trade you, Molly, whoopee, if ever again." I cannot. You know why? 'Cause no more times to come I see, 'cause tomorrow is my wedding day. And no more times to come I see, 'cause tomorrow is my wedding day. And Molly gave the ring to the king, Your Majesty. And she was married the next morning. And they partied, yes. They had a disco pool party, they had a bowling party, they had a ballroom dancing party, they had incredible food at this wedding. I mean, they had Chinese food, Szechuan for people with spicy taste, Cantonese for people with boring taste, they had pizza with and without the works. They invited kings and queens, dukes and duchesses, teachers and principals, students. As a matter of fact, I was a guest at the wedding. I was having a wicked good time at the disco pool party, eating little hors d'oeuvres, when they found out what I do for a living. So they said to me, "Judith, get out of here. You got to go around the world and tell everybody about the great deeds." And as far as I know, they are still back there, partying, in honor of the wedding of the king's youngest son to Molly. Whoopee. She's smarter than a giant, she's smarter than a king. Meet the one little girl who gets fortune, sword, and ring. The trickster, the trickster, oh, the trickster is for me. Not a friend, but a fine fiend. The trickster is for me. Okay, you guys, let's figure out who the trickster was in this story. Remember, if the person's a trickster, you yell, "Yeah!" If the person was not a trickster, you go, Not. Was the giant's wife a trickster? Good. Was the giant a trickster? Was the king, oh, did I hear somebody say that the giant was a trickster? Now, the giant, he was big, but particularly, he wasn't. Let's see, was the king's second son a trickster? Nah, he just got married, lived happily ever after. Now, was Molly Whoopi a trickster? A wicked good one, yes. If your giant's big and ugly and likes to eat up whales, just paint them on the old cement and watch that giant fail. The trickster, oh, the trickster is for me. Not a friend, but a fine thing. The trickster is for me. Back to your stories, which were brilliant. And the first one happens to be about giants and whales. You see, the giant was on his way to the school. And the giant was mean and the giant was ugly. Now, as usual, George, the second grader, tried to warn everybody. Giant's coming, warning, giant, hey, get out of here, giant. But did teachers or administrators listen? No. So George knew it was up to him to play a clever trick. Now, he knew that this giant loved whales, so George knew what his trick would be. And when the giant came, he said, hey, giant! Are you hungry? Yeah. Would you like a whale? Yeah. Look, you can get a really good view of the whales if you go into the back playground area and climb way up the high tree. Then you can see the pond filled with whales right in the playground. Good. And the giant climbed up that tree and looked down and saw a pond full of whales. And the last thing they heard him scream was, lunchtime! Because the little second grader George was standing there next to the squished giant when he said, oh, sorry, I forgot to tell you. I painted those whales on the cement. Now, George was one kind of trickster, but here's one who even found a simpler solution. There were two bullies at the park, well, the playground really at school, and the bullies tried to get everyone sandwiches. Well, one little girl, she got tired of having her sandwiches taken. She was always hungry when lunchtime came. So one day she said, hey, Mom, let me make the sandwich today, please? Why, sure, honey, thanks for helping. Okay. So she put a thin layer of peanut butter on the bread and then hot sauce. Lots of hot sauce. Tons of hot pepper sauce. And then a little layer of jelly so it should look like a normal sandwich. The other piece of bread, she always ate whole wheat because it's better for you. And then she went to school. In the playground, the bully was there as usual. Give me the sandwich. Oh, no, not this sandwich. I love this sandwich. This is my favorite. I eat it every day. Good, then I want it. Huh. Whew. Guess what? That bully never took her sandwich again. Our last story is about a very smart girl from the Bowman School. Her name was Matilda. And the horrible giant, the Gombe, was coming. The Gombe was going to use their school as a stool and squish it. Well, Matilda was only in kindergarten, but she came right out and she said, Giant, I'm just going to have to kill you if you don't go away.
What makes you think that a little puny kindergarten kid like you is going to be able to do me in?
Well, my name is Matilda and I'm very smart.
Oh, yeah, smart. I'm big and strong.
Let's have a contest.
I can beat you doing anything.
Well, okay, let's have a contest. Whoever can name a state's capital first wins. If you win, you can sit on me and crush me to neverness. If I win, you have to go away.
I'm big. I can win anything.
Now, Matilda was smart. She knew every capital in the world in a heartbeat, too. And so she said, okay, I get to name the capital.
No, I get to name the state.
No, I get to name the state.
No, I get to...
All right. They let her friend Jennifer name the state. And Jennifer said, the name of the state is Georgia. Well, who could say the capital faster? In a heartbeat, Matilda just yelled out, Atlanta! And the Gombe was still going,
Boston? Springfield? Worcester? Lexington? Somerville?
Hello, Gandhi. Gandhi, I won. You gotta go.
Let's see. Pittsfield? Portland?
And as far as we know, Gandhi, I think he was last seen in Dallas, Texas, still trying to figure out the state capital of Georgia. The trickster, oh, the trickster is for me. Not a friend, but a fine thing. The trickster is for me. Our last story today? Actually, I don't tell it. A friend of mine tells this story. Oh, yeah. A friend who wears rabbit ears. And a friend who wears rabbit hands. You know why? 'Cause they call me Rabbit. Rabbit soft and furry. I was born in the briar patch. But once I start running, I'm awfully hard to catch. My name is Rabbit. Rabbit. Now, the very first rabbit the Creator knew. The very first rabbit was furry and smart, and fast. And the Creator made our ears long and beautiful. Now, my great-great-grandpa, he lived in Africa, and he was so smart. That rabbit, great-great-grandpa, he used to get giraffe and elephant to do all the farming. They did all the work, he did all the eating. My grandpa, he lived in Puerto Rico, and he used to ride wolf like he was a horse. All my relatives are fast, they're handsome, they're soft. You might know my great-grandson. Yeah, he's a rabbit, too. They call him Bugs Bunny. What's up, Doc? He's bothering Elmer Fudd to this day, but I want to tell you about the handsomest rabbit, the furriest rabbit, and the fastest rabbit. That's me. Brer Rabbit. You can say that part with me. Try it. Brer Rabbit. That's my curly whiskers. Pretty cool, ain't they? Try it again. Brer Rabbit. Brer means brother, and I'm a brother to everyone. Now, this story, it's from the south of this country, from Mississippi. Mississippi is a big state in the south of the United States. And a lot of my rabbit friends, we came to Mississippi, from Africa, down through Puerto Rico and the Caribbean. We came on up to Mississippi. Oh, yeah, rabbits, Brer Rabbit. This story I'm going to tell you is called Brer Rabbit and the Briar Patch, because that's where I was born and raised. Brer Rabbit came from the briar patch. That was me. Now, the briar patch is nasty and thornful, so I soon worked my way up and I moved upscale to a better part of town where I hung out with Sis Fox and Brer Bear and Brer Snake. And I always got my way because I would say something and I'd get everyone to agree with me, like a nice day, and they'd say, sure enough. Beautiful day, and they'd say, sure enough. You can say that with them. I'd say, good day for walking, and they'd say, sure enough. Good day for taking a walk from the market, and they'd say, sure enough. Hey, good day to walk with things and your arms make you strong. Sure enough. And I'd say, well, then you can bring back all my food from the market, and they'd say, sure enough. And I'd get everything I need, just got to be a little smart. I was what you call in administration. I like to watch others do the work. Well, one time there wasn't enough food. Pooh, it was bad. And I told you I'd moved uptown from the briar patch, and I was hanging out with Sis Fox and Brer Bear and Brer Snake, and we were all arguing about food. Well, since I am Brer Rabbit and I'm in administration, I knew what to do. I said, hey, y'all hungry? And they said, sure enough. Y'all would like more food to eat? And they said, sure enough. Y'all don't mind working for food, do you? And they said, sure enough, hey, you could farm just like the humans. And they said, sure enough. So now I'm where I want to be, because after all, I'm Brer Rabbit. And I'm in administration, so I gave them each a job. I said, Snake, you're strong and smart. Yes. Snake, you pull yourself around those weeds and you pull them out right, all right? And Snake said, sure enough. I said, Brer Bear, you are powerful.
Oh, yes, sir, I'm Brer Rabbit.
Brer Bear, you're powerful enough to dig up all this dirt, aren't you? He said,
Sure enough.
I said, you do that now, we'll make a garden. He said,
Sure enough.
and Brer Bear, he started digging up the garden. Now, Sis Fox, she's a little smarter than the others. I say, Sis Fox, you're fast. She says, sure enough. I say, Sis Fox, you're smart too. She says, sure enough. I say, Sis Fox, you run to town and get some seeds, carrot, cabbage, radish, lettuce. She says to me, Brer Rabbit, what you gonna be doing? Like I said, Sis Fox is smarter than the rest. So I tell her, Sis Fox, I'm Brer Rabbit. I'm in administration. That means I watch other people. So she goes running off, and soon I have them planting a garden. I got Brer Bear bringing the water, 'cause he's strong, sure enough. I got Brer Snake pulling out all the weeds that grow, 'cause he's so smart, sure enough. And I got Sis Fox scaring off all the animals so they shouldn't eat the seedlings, 'cause I told her she's the only one quick enough to do it. And she said, sure enough. And I was administrating, 'cause after all, my name is Brer Rabbit. Now, as an administrator, it was my job to try each thing as it came up. So I would try a little leaf of lettuce. I would try the radishes. When the cabbage started, I would just peel a leaf off the outside. And one day, I'm on my way to try the first tender carrot shoot. After all, it's my job. I'm in administration, and my name is Brer Rabbit. And when I get to my garden, who do I see there? Well, there is Sis Fox, there's Brer Bear, there is Brer Snake, and they are looking at me mean.
Brer Rabbit, we've had it with you eating our garden.
That's right, Brer Rabbit. We do all the work, and you've been eating everything. That's right, Brer Rabbit. If you keep eating from our garden, guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna turn you into rabbit stew.
Rabbit stew.
Rabbit stew. And now, it was my turn to say, sure enough, which means sure enough, or you bet. And I backed off. See you later. But you know, I've done a very good job of administration. I am Brer Rabbit. But they didn't buy it. They just kept telling me something about seasoning rabbit stew when I got out of there. But a rabbit, being furry and fast and ever so handsome, still has a belly to feed. So I decided to continue my administration at night when the other critters weren't there, and I would go and I would eat, you know, a little bit of carrot, a little bit of lettuce, a little bit of cabbage, just what any smart administrating rabbit needs. I gotta feed myself. After all, I'm Brer Rabbit. Sure enough. Well, one day I'm on my way to my garden, and there on the path right in front of the garden is this big, ugly man. Now, I couldn't see his face because he had on a hat and a giant coat. But this is my neighborhood, so I walk on over to him and I say, hello, name is Brer Rabbit, and I am the administrator here. I am furry, I am fast, I am handsome. Nice to meet you. Well, this fella, he don't say nothing to me, which I consider impolite. So I just say a little louder, because I think maybe he's hard of hearing. Hello, Brer Rabbit's the name, fast, furry, handsome. Woo! Say it with me. Brer Rabbit. Ha! Nice to meet you. But that guy, he didn't say nothing. Now that is what I call rude. And I'm not going to let that get past me. I'm going to show him one side of my furry little rabbit paw. I say, you best greet me or you're going to feel my paw. And I always make good on my word. So I give him one big, he don't let it go. So I give it to him with the other side. This is not funny, mister. You let go of my paws, I'm going to give you one good rabbit kick. Ooh! Mister, I am not laughing at this. You are rude, and this is where I am the administrator. You are going to get another ooh. Well, I tell him he best be good to me or I'm going to give it to him with my head. Butt him right in the... And I am stuck fast. And only then do I realize I have been stuck to a tar baby. Yeah, someone put a big baby there and put tar, sticky stuff all over it. I'm not happy. But after all, I am Brer Rabbit. So scared? I'm not. And I wait. And the next morning, who comes along? Oh, it's Sis Fox and Brer Bear and Brer Snake. And they think they caught me. And so I act real scared like. Oh, now look at you. I think we have got Brer Rabbit. Yes, we do.
Oh boy, I think it's rabbit stew time.
Rabbit, you've been eating our garden and now we've caught you.
Oh no, sure enough, you caught me. What are you gonna do with me?
I think I'll put my coils around you and squeeze the breath out of you.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good idea, Brer Snake. You squeeze the life out of me. You do that, just don't throw me in the briar patch.
Oh no, I think we're gonna cook you over an open flame.
Well, I like that idea, Brer Bear. You cook me over an open flame. I like being hot. Just whatever you do, Brer Bear, don't throw me in the briar patch. That's not a good idea. Let's throw him in the water and drown him. Oh, I like water. That's right. You throw me in the water, Brer Snake. I'd like that. Water's nice. Just don't throw me in the briar patch. Well, like I said, Sis Fox is smarter than the rest. And so she says, Cooey, I think we better throw this little rabbit devil in the briar patch. And I'm screaming and yelling, no, no, not the briar patch, anything but the briar patch. And Brer Bear, he's the biggest, he lifts me up off the tar baby and he swings me around and around and I'm screaming the whole time, not the briar patch, I'm afraid of the briar patch. And he lets me fall into the briar patch. And they're all looking for me. Am I going to be alive? Am I going to be dead? Am I going to be alive? Am I going to be dead? And I jump up and say, thank you. I was born and raised in the briar patch. Sure enough, my name is Brer Rabbit. And I ran away. Brer Rabbit, he's so lazy. He loves his kale and grits. He gets all he wants to eat and only uses wits. The trickster is for me. Not a friend, but a fine thing. The trickster is for me. Those are the end of our stories. I want to thank you so much for tuning in, and I want you to know that all you ever have to do is use what's between the ears, the old wits, and there's a trickster in every single one of us. All of us can do it. Make the tough guy fall. Use what's just between your ears. The trickster's in us all. Thank you very much for tuning in, and keep looking for the trickster in you. A strong man has his muscle, the king or the friend of sit. But small and weak, the trickster gets what he wants with wits. The trickster, oh, the trickster is for me. Not a friend, but a fine fiend, the trickster is for me. A dragon roars out, gimme, lion booms, I decree. The trickster, he says nothing but takes all that he sees. The trickster